I'm Mo Rocca, and I'm excited to announce Season 4 of my podcast, Mobituaries. I've got a whole new bunch of stories to share with you about the most fascinating people and things who are no longer with us. From famous figures who died on the very same day, to the things I wish would die, like buffets. All that and much more. Listen to Mobituaries with Mo Rocca wherever you get your podcasts.
Inspired by the life of the savvy and ambitious Colombian businesswoman Griselda Blanco comes a new Netflix original limited series. Griselda tells the story of a devoted mother who, with her lethal blend of charm and relentless savagery, creates one of the most powerful cartels in history. Witness Sofia Vergara's captivating transformation into the godmother of the underworld. Griselda, now streaming only on Netflix.
Bare-naked, 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 ABCs.
Welcome to the Bare Naked ABCs, where we discuss every Bare Naked Ladies song from 7 to Y. It's the end of a very important time of the year up here in the Northeast, the hunting season, of course. I don't hunt myself, being a pacifist, but I know one of the most important rules is that you can't go hunting before sunrise or after sunset. So instead, I go out with my camera and after dark and I take photographs. I never seem to get the pictures exposed, though. Any guesses why, Stefan?
Well, if you're hunting yourself, you have other issues. Because you said, I don't hunt myself. And that's kind of weird to do in the first place. So
I was going to ask, how does one hunt oneself? Stefan,
well,
props, B.I.G.
What else am I going to take photographs of?
Well, hopefully you're clothed.
We'll talk about that further when we get to the song.
Oh, okay, yes, that's true, too. Yeah. I don't know. Maybe, like, night photographs? Or constant.
Yeah, what's your aperture setting?
Maybe there's
100%.
Like a light emitting from a Tesla tower or something. I don't know, man. UFOs?
So if you haven't picked up on it yet, I have joining me Aaron and Stefan, and as well as Dr. Welch.
Yes, Dr. Welch is in the house. The doctor is in.
It is true. It is true.
So, welcome everyone as we discuss this week's song, Night Photographs. Thank you all for joining me.
Happy to be here, everybody.
Pleasure.
Yeah. Thank you for having us, Tracy. It's really good. It's not like we're a part of the podcast or anything. That we're going to show up every week.
So this week we're discussing Night Photographs, which is, if you've never heard it before, here is a quick snippet.
At night I like to photograph the freak camera images, and I don't have a flash. I put my lid on the subjects you have. Photo one, photo two, the drunk and naked girl.
And that's probably
And Aaron, what album is this from?
Well, unfortunately, I can't take credit for guessing the album because the beans were spilled. So I know that it was on Buck Naked. However, one can easily tell by the recording quality that it's from a demo tape. It's quite raw. So I'd like to think that I would have got this one.
I should hope so, since there's only two people singing it.
Yeah. It is in the key of E major. And mostly sits in E major for the large portion of the song. It was recorded at about 202 beats per minute, but that's pretty loose. The alternate version we listened to from Bare Naked Lunch, great pun off of Naked Lunch, by the way, is even faster. It's around 250 beats per minute.
Photo one, flower. Photo two, a bare naked boy and girl. Photo three, slides out in the backyard. Each spring captures the very subtleties of black. Each spring captures the very subtleties of black. Subtleties of black.
I will say I prefer the well, I wouldn't call it. I guess the studio. They're both studio. I prefer the Buck Naked version slightly for reasons I'll probably get into in a little bit.
That's what I had too, and like the super fast version, like.
That felt like the train was coming off the tracks. That one.
Now it's interesting that you say that because for Bare Naked Lunch, they accidentally mixed it wrong, and in the process of mixing it, actually sped it up, the whole disc. Oh, sorry, the whole tape up too much. And
is that
it's too
artificial?
fast. It's
Really?
artificial.
I mean, they don't sound like chipmunks, so it couldn't have been sped up that much.
No, but
It was fast.
I mean, it
It's
was definitely
fast.
fast. Yeah.
But the other thing is that if you listen to them when they covered it live for their Peep Show tour, where they covered every song they've ever done,
That's an appropriate tour for this song.
exactly. They did exactly the same speed for that they did for the Bare Naked Lunch version. Now, Heidi, I do have to ask you, because you have something none of the rest of us were able to listen to, which is the version off the Ladies' Room Volume 1. Yeah, you're waving it around in our face.
Yes.
Oh,
Would you like?
I would guess-
and the problem is my laptop doesn't have a CD. Anything. So when you said, "Can you upload it?" I was like, "I would love to, but I cannot because." So I have it in my CD player right now, but I can't upload it because I can't.
Why don't you play it in your CD player and just record it through your phone or something?
I could do that. Yeah, I should have thought of that. I maybe next time. I can always get it right next time. Next time. Oh, that was
I was gonna say, if the quality is on par with the other two recordings, recording it over the phone probably wouldn't diminish it much.
No, and
No.
hold on. I don't think it was much different. Like,
Well, it's not. The one that you have is actually the same one that came off from Bare Naked Lunch, but with just the speed corrected.
Yeah, it's
it
still
includes
faster.
bongos. That's about the only difference.
And I couldn't hear piano in the Buck Naked one, which was I really liked the piano solo in the Buck Naked version. Although it's mixed so low, it's it really is so low. It's pretty muddy. Like a lot of the middle is pretty muddy, so it's hard. And the piano's not very present in the mix. But from what I could hear, it was almost like Ben Folds style. It's pretty like active and rocking. So I would have appreciated hearing that better.
Yeah, I mean, they were recording on a 4-track in their basement, so...
Yeah, it shows. But like, it's still an enjoyable tune.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
An interesting tune.
Now, does it seem like they were listening to Violent Femmes when they wrote this song?
Oh my god, I heard Blister in the Sun.
Yeah,
Totally.
yeah.
Including the
Yeah.
da-da, da-da, da-da,
Yeah.
da-da, da-da, da-da,
It's got
da-da,
that.
da-da.
Acoustic.
And I'm
folk
curious
punk
to hear Aaron's
with a bluegrass
breakdown too, because it's a little
Sure.
confusing.
twist. Okay. Well, I'll tell you what I interpreted was
Break
going
it down,
on.
Aaron.
All right, let's break it down. So
Wow, that was fun.
the intro just vamps on E, and as I said, the vast majority of the song is just sitting in E. So the verse is a lot of E, and then you go to G and D, and then back to E. So that's a 1-3-7 in my interpretation, as far as I can tell. And then finally you go up to an F sharp, which is a 2 chord, and then it resolves back down to 1, which is a little unusual. But I think there's like some Appalachian country bluegrass influence going on here, which this is maybe pulling from. because the melody is, the chorus also vamps on E with the same turnaround. So you have E, G, D. But because the melody is different, I would differentiate these as A and B sections. But it's all the same 4 chords for the entire song.
Yeah.
So you have intro, which is your A section, verse 1, which is your A, chorus B, another chorus B. Then you have piano solo over the A changes. And like I said, it sounds like a pretty nice solo, but unfortunately it's kind of buried in the mix. Then you have verse 2, so another A, and then chorus, and then there is a very abrupt stop at the end of the song, which we'll talk about this when we go into the lyrics, but I interpret that as him being caught taking his night photos, and he has to immediately run away. So we have A, B, B, A, B, in my estimation. But again, the song stays mostly rooted in E with some occasional turnarounds. Is that more or less what
That's exactly what I had. And I pulled my guitar down off the wall for a bit because I was like, is it really an E? Because it's so weird for it to go into the 3. Because, and I was like, at first I thought it was E minor to A minor.
There's not a fourth or a fifth in the entire song.
With changing it around, I was like, maybe it's actually in G. And because
right,
that would make more sense.
Because then the D would be a 5, but then it would resolve down to E,
right.
So that wouldn't make sense.
I know.
Yeah.
So I was really perplexed. Like I have all kinds of notes going. Wait, I'm a highly trained musician here who teaches theory, and I'm going, okay, wait, because E doesn't make, but then, and the first 2 chords, he hangs on E, but he changes it. It's very much like Violent Femmes. It almost sounded like he was going like E major to A minor for a bit. Bum, 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 bum. Like it sounded like he was going back and forth there. So the theory breakdown of this was definitely a challenge, but I got exactly what you did, so now I don't feel dumb. Yeah.
No, me too. I was wondering because I was like, that's, and I'm always harping on, when we get like a song that's 1-4-5, I'm like, 1-4-5 is great. A lot of classic pop rock songs written in that, but it's nice to get something different. So this is something very different.
And I wonder how much of that was them trying to impersonate the Violent Femmes, like trying to do what they thought that they were doing, and with this song. And that's why it came off that way.
Buck Naked come out?
1988. So.
So they
Violent Femmes wrote this in 78.
Could have been trying to find their identity in a way, Was Andy and the Creegans a part of this?
Nope. So for Buck Naked, Andy and Jim were not a part of it yet. And then for the Bare Naked Lunch version, that's where we hear the bongos and the bass, and that's Andy and Jim coming in to join.
Gotcha.
Oh, okay. So this was primarily what, Ed and Steve?
Yeah.
Interesting. Very interesting. The interesting would probably be if I had one word I wanted to sum up this song. It's probably interesting.
And I want to point out, this was the song that they led off Bare Naked Lunch with. So when they decided to go for their second tape, so to speak, they decided to put that. That was their first song that they were introducing everyone with.
Well, it has this distinct country rock feel, especially in the original, with some bluegrass influence, like I said, but the Bare Naked Lunch version evokes the bluegrass feel more strongly for me, perhaps because of the faster tempo. I think I prefer the original, though, as I said, because although the Bare Naked Lunch version is mixed a little more clearly, the Bare Naked Lunch also lacks the piano solo, which, again, I think is a shame. Now, if this was pre-Andy, who was playing the piano? Because that was honestly, it sounded like a pretty good solo. Maybe it wasn't as good as I perceived it to be, and that's why they mixed it down. It could be like, that's how like the Bob Dylan organ came into practice. I don't know if you guys heard that story, but like Bob Dylan was in a recording studio and he was like, I want some organ, give me a player. And like the session guy was in there, but he wasn't really a pianist. He was like a guitarist, and he was like, you can play organ, right? And he's like, yeah, a little. And they put him in there, and he's just like, that's why you get those like hesitant beep, 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 like, so they just mixed it really low, and like that became a style though, because people were trying to ape Dylan. So anyways, I digress. But yeah, so I don't know, but it sounded like a really, really nice piano solo. So I'm curious who played that.
I will look that up and see if I can find it out.
I'd really love to hear a cleanly recorded version of this song. It's really hard for me to opine on it when I feel like I'm missing a lot of the experience. It'd be cool to hear them play this live or something.
Definitely sounds like a
so
cool band trying to record something.
Did you catch the Play Everything to Everyone version that I posted in the chat?
No.
So that one that I posted in the chat is them playing it live during their Peep Show version. Their Peep Show.
Okay, well, let me see if I can. Well, you're looking that up.
Night I like photographs, printed camera images, and I don't have a flash, but my little notebook records the subjects you have. Photo one, flower.
And as if to hammer my point home, that version has some Hammond organ stuff in it.
Yes, because Kevin had joined him by that point.
That Kevin. What does he do? Is he a drummer? Isn't that Tyler? I'm so confused.
Tyler's the drummer, which we get Tyler on none of these versions until the...
Who's playing the drums on that one?
That one would be Tyler because that was the
Tyler.
live version much later.
So I like that. I've only listened to the first 30 seconds of it so far, but I already like it the best of any I've heard. I think the higher tempo works with the drums instead of the bongos, or in addition to the bongos. It really helps it have a driving feel, and it seems just more exciting. And also the mix is fuller and just sounds a lot better already. So I probably want to finish that before I give my final score. So I'm gonna go finish that right now.
So on the Buck Naked version, I'll wait for Aaron to get back.
I'm here. I apologize.
So on the Buck Naked sleeve, it gives credit as follows: Steven is singing guitar and little noisy things, and Ed is doing, and actually it's Eddie Robertson is doing guitar, singing, and little noisy things. So I don't know who is doing the Casio keyboard, but
sounds like the liner notes from some of my stuff. We had all kinds of weird auxiliary percussion, so we notated it strangely. But there was one song where we had my bass player Nate had this weird hunting lure called the Predator or something, and it had these horrible wounded animal noises to lure in predators for hunters, and we played that over some of the outro.
Wow.
I think I have an answer.
Beautiful stuff. Yeah, what's up?
Thinking back, there was a live from home show where Steven took out his old Casio that they had recorded Buck Naked on. If he's got the Casio, then I'm going to guess that it was him playing the piano on that.
Yeah, I think there's a good chance.
Sorry.
I mean, it's a 50-50 chance at worst, right? So.
Exactly.
They're going to have to come on the show and say whether or not that's true.
Jim, Steve, Ed, we know you listen to us. Please come
on the show.
Do they? Do they though? I think I've heard.
Of course they do.
Well, prove us wrong and come on the show and say that you don't listen to us.
Exactly. Or have somebody sponsor us for Pete's sakes.
Yeah, Steve and Ed, if you don't come on the show, you owe us $1 million to buy Dijon ketchups with.
So, guys, I don't have a ton to say about the music or the background of this song. It's a very deep cut with very little information to share.
Deep cut.
So, why don't we talk about the song itself? And the lyrics of the song. We haven't been talking about the song itself this whole time.
The lyrics were a bit of a stretch.
I like the version too where Ed yells out "one."
Yeah. That's fun.
Or Steven that yells out "one."
I'm going to say it's Steven because Ed is singing.
Yeah, Ed's doing the main melody.
Flower. Photo 2 is drunken naked girl. Photo 3. It's very Schoolhouse Rock.
I don't think I've ever heard Schoolhouse Rock talking about drunken naked girls, but yeah.
I mean, come on. It's the other Schoolhouse Rock.
Yes. Go ahead.
Also, Aaron's discussion of the form of this is so weird because it's It's the weirdest little song. It's like, oh, he repeats it, goes back to the beginning, repeats it again. Wow, their songwriting ability has really gotten better. The lyric writing has much improved.
Yeah, I would actually classify this as a ditty.
Yeah.
A ditty. Yeah, it's a little ditty.
It's a ditty. It's fun. It's a fun ditty.
Oh, that's Jack and Diane. Okay.
It's a fun song about who knows what those photographs really are of.
Well, we know what they're of. Okay.
Well, he records them in his notebook.
Am I just a pervert?
Yes.
Yeah, the answer's in the
Or is
question.
anyone else? Well, that too. But is anyone else getting a weird voyeuristic vibe from this song? The mention of taking a photo of a quote drunk and naked girl might not suggest this in itself, but he says
canceled. You're gonna be canceled, Ed.
He says, I don't have a flash, which just seems a little creepy to me, like he's hiding in a bush somewhere taking candid pictures. And to be fair, the other two photos are of a flower and his dog in the backyard. So I think a charitable reading of this would be to say he just went out at night with a camera taking pictures without necessarily being able to see too well, and then developed the photos to see what he captured. But even so, it seems more than a little suggestive.
This is like serial killer kind of stuff. Like, you could make a movie out of this. Like, he keeps the notebooks in his bedroom, and they go and they're like, okay, so he's got
like
these
some
black and white photos
stuff
of nothing, but he says he took these pictures.
It's like when I was taking photography class in high school, just go around taking weird photos wherever you are.
Oh yeah.
At night. Were they in high school during the song?
Well,
they
were 91. On the verge between high school and
what year
college.
was this? 91? 88. So I was a freshman in high school.
So yeah,
but
high school. Like senior, maybe. Yeah, that's about right, because that's when I took my photography.
Taking black and white, using black and white film. I still have pictures in my house that I did in black and white, and you thought you were so badass and so cool.
Mm-hmm.
I only work in black and white.
These days we just use Photoshop and grayscale it.
In 50 Shades of Grey.
Here we go again.
So, depending on which version of the song you listen to, the second photograph is something different as well. So in the first version, he says it's a drunken naked girl. But in the second one, for Bare Naked Lunch, it's bare naked boy and girl. So first of all, why are they bare naked? What are they doing? And why is he taking a picture?
Well, somebody's got to hold the camera.
Why not?
And then in the third version, which is the live version they do much, much later, they do both of them. They start off with drunken naked. The next time around, they hit bare naked boy and girl. And then on the third chorus, they say both of them at the same time.
They've really only performed this 5 times, by the way.
Again, we come back to
5 times. They performed it once in on the E2E, and then...
I think that's 5 times too many.
Yeah.
No problem.
Tell us how you really feel.
Images.
Yeah, it seems like a high school song to me. Like a high school kid trying to find.
It's a high school talent show kind of song.
Kind of reminds me.
Yeah, I mean, it's them having fun when they're still young, still feeling things out, kind of finding their voice.
Which is funny because this is after they wrote "If I Had $1 Million." Like they can do something more with the song.
Well, it reminds me of The Wedding Singer when Adam Sandler's like, "Hey, bear with me. I was listening to The Clash a lot during this.
Do me, please."
Yeah. It reminds me of that. It's like, hey, this is a song I came up with.
It's the best song ever.
Got some influences of Violent Femmes, naked people.
Want to die. Put a bullet in my head. I may have seen it a few times.
Yeah.
Lyrically, that sounds closer to Morrissey.
Well, it was good.
Well, it was good. Well, it was good. Well, it was good. Well, it was good. Well, it was good. Well, it was good. Well, it was good. Well, it was good. Well, it was good. Well, it was good. Well, it was good. Well, it was good. Well, it was good. Well, it was good. Well, it was good. Well, it was good. Well, it was good. Well, it was good. Well, it was good. Well, it was good. Well, it was good. Well, it was good. Well, it was good. Well, it was good. Well, it was good. Well, it was good. Well, it was good. Well, it was good. Well, it was good. Well, it was good. Well, it was good. Well, it was good. Well, it was good. Well, it was good. Well, it was good. Well, it was good. Well, it was good. Well, it was good. Well, it was good. Well, it was good. Well, it was good. Well, it was good. Well, it was good. Well, it was good. Well, it was good. Well, it was good. Well, it was good. Well, it was good. Well, it was good. Well, it was good. Well, it was good. Well, it was good. Well,
And I'm actually trying to look up and see which version of Buck Naked this is on.
Yeah, I have this
because there were
version
so many
of Buck
different
Naked,
versions of
which
Buck
is
Naked.
McDonald's Girl, Everything Old, Make My
Oh,
Heart
it's on
Fly.
2.
So this was actually their song that was on the
1.
original Buck Naked, their first version of it. It was the third song on the...
Which I have a burned copy, which does not work in my CD player that I was just trying to listen to. Like, it worked years ago. I'm going to try it in my car. Just wrong. I burned it like 25 years ago.
Burn, man.
Well, it's because it's
Burned.
burned. No, I was just making a joke. The kids these days don't know what that means to burn a CD. They're like, "What are you lighting it on fire?"
So this was one of their earliest songs, in that it was on the green edition of Buck Naked, which had Roadrunner, Only You, Night Photographs, Wishing Well, and Really Don't Know. So I mean, I would have liked to have seen them do something more with this song to kind of add something to it later on and build off from it, just to see what they could have done. But I think they probably felt like they grew past it.
Yeah, like added trumpets
Yeah.
or violin.
Or maybe it's just a second verse.
Well, I mean,
Or tambourine.
it's very repetitious, but I mean, I think so. Somebody said like high school talent show. That does kind of sound like maybe they had a gig and they're like, "What can we do?" Well, we can play Night Photographs. Well, that only has like one verse. Like, yeah, we'll just repeat it. It's fine. It's fine.
Yeah, but Billy's helping us out on keyboard, so we need something simple.
Well, if you ever watched
exactly.
the old Behind the Music, the Bare Naked Ladies Behind the Music back in the day, they talk about him and Steve just showing up to the event and putting together like a set list of anything and making up a lot of shit. So,
and honestly, this song, I could see them like, you know what? Do you know Violent Femmes? Yeah, I know Violent Femmes. Let's play some Blister in the Sun and hey, let's just throw our own lyrics over the top of it and just randomly make them up as we're going. And I could see these being the made up lyrics.
Well, what's interesting to me though is that the guitar work is very Violent Femmes, and when they added the drums and stuff, and you get that kind of rhythmic, but the melodic line, the melody itself, is much more like bluegrassy. Like think about like "Oh Brother, Where Art Thou," and they're like, "I am a man of constant sorrow." It's that kind of same kind of like energy. So it's interesting. It's an interesting combination of elements.
True.
True. I concur.
I concur.
Do you concur,
Dr.
Doctor?
Becker, I concur.
I got nothing more to add about this.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a pretty simple little ditty, as we, there's nothing wrong with it. It's just, I'm probably tipping my hand. It's not something I would like if someone's like, "Hey, what's BNL all about?" I would be like, "Oh,
Yeah,
check this song
it's
out."
like not starting BNL off on
No.
New Sad. We don't want to start him there, and we definitely don't want to start him on with Night Photographs. But it's fun. But there were so many other better songs on Buck Naked. This is kind of just a fun, light, very old school BNL kind of style. I wonder if they had a chance to rewrite it today and look at it again, how would it change, and what would they change about it? Because
They'd probably like throw it in the trash
burn
Or
it.
burn
It's
it.
definitely no trouble with Tracy.
and dance naked around it and take photographs at night of the
It's
burning.
like burning.
I mean,
so
on
Trouble
the
with Tracy.
long version of Buck Naked, this followed Great Provider, which is a good song. This is a good pick me up song after Great Provider, which is an amazing song. So I could see that working.
Work it.
Yeah, I mean, again, I think you were right. You nailed it with Violent Femmes. That's all I could think of too, which they did it better. And but it's a fun throwaway little song, but it's not. I mean, it's definitely not indicative of like BNL as we know and love them. Oh my god!
And they are singing so fast in this. Like, I feel like they're missing words at points.
So, when you look at the lyric and it's like each frame captures the various subtleties of black, but it's each frame captures the various subtleties of black, subtleties of black, subtleties of black, and you're like, oh, subtleties of black. Okay, but what are the rest of the sentence is like each frame captures the subtleties of black. You're like, what? Shabir. Is that English? Did I catch a niner in there? Was he calling from a walkie-talkie?
I feel like he's missing a few syllables in the middle there with various.
I believe
I
would call that the Louis Louis effect.
Oh yeah.
I believe I would call that the Louis Louis effect.
The Kingsman though.
Kind of like Hootie the Blowfish. Hootie and the Blowfish, where you can
Hootie,
substitute vowels.
I don't want to be right here. Like he made that sentence one syllable.
And they have
amazing.
Darius Rucker, come on the show. We know you listen.
Where are we going to rank this thing? Are we going to rank it like Violent Femmes or rank it like Foodies or
how many Bush perverts?
Bush perverts.
Oh my god!
Wow.
Oh, Jeff is gonna wish he's gonna be sad he missed this one.
I gotta say, as soon as to Heidi's point, I was the first pass through, and I'm usually focused on the music and not the lyrics, anyways. The first pass through, but I certainly with the poor quality of the recording and some of the mumbled lyrics, I was not really paying attention to the lyrics. So then I brought up the lyrics online and listened to it again, and all I could think about was George McFly up in the tree in Back to the Future.
So how many McFlys are we going to rank this thing?
I think McFlys would be a good rating.
McFly.
Oh, McFly.
I can go with
how many
McFlys. How many McFlys?
You want some McFlys with that?
That's better than Bush perverts.
Bush perverts. McFlys. A large McFlys.
Well, since we don't have Jeff, I'll take control. Stefan, how many McFlys do you give this song?
Oh my lord. Well, I like the Violent Femmes.
But I don't like them.
These guys kind of these guys give a disturb.
I grew up with Violent Femmes. You, sir, are no Violent Femmes.
I have a lot of black eyes to prove it. So, I'm going.
Which is funny because the BNL actually toured with Violent Femmes.
Did they really? Did they really?
Just a couple of years ago. Yeah.
No kidding. Wow. That's funny. I'd rank it 1 because
I rank it 1.
You know,
wow.
Because I'm Stefan.
1. 1 because that's generous, and you know it's a high school song. They're like, let's just throw stuff together and see if it sticks. You know, like spaghetti on a wall. You know, that's all I got. It's like, based on what Aaron said, it's all over the place. It's chaos, and they don't. It's a miracle that it even came out, you know, to resemble a song in the first place, I guess. So, 1. That's all I got.
Aaron, how many Bush perverts do you give this song?
Well, to be fair, I'm not too far off from Stefan. I think, you know, it's not like. To be clear, it's not like I hate it. It's not like I think it's the worst thing that was ever committed to tape. But if I'm like, hey, I'm in the mood to listen to some BNL, this is going to be way down the list. You know, it's going to be a long time before I'm going to see, you know, if ever, you know, and not, you know, it's like if I was shuffling a playlist and this came on, I probably wouldn't skip it. It's a short song anyways, you know, but yeah, you know, it's just not something I would seek out. So, I mean, I could see myself giving it a 1, but that version you sent, Tracy, the live version, is quite a bit better. I'm going to say a 1.5 McFlys, but I could see myself going up a little higher. You know, if again, if I heard a good recorded, well recorded version of this, or heard it live, it might grow on me. So it's possible that I could in the future come back around and revisit this. But I'm thinking 1.5 McFlys for now.
Yeah. I mean,
All right, Heidi.
I've had a copy of it for many, many, many years. And it's a non-song to me. It's just not.
How often do you pull it out and say, I want to listen to
Never.
Night Photographs?
In fact, I was like, when was the last time I heard Night Photographs? When I knew it was for this week, I was like, oh yeah. And it's funny because I know The Trouble with Tracy and I know McDonald's Girl and everything old. Like I know a lot from that album. This is one that I was like, oh yeah, that's how that goes. Yeah. Okay. It was like, okay, I've listened to it like maybe a few times, way less than I would any other that we've prepared for over the last several weeks. Those I'll listen to a dozen or more times to really prep. This one was like, yeah, I don't, except for the chord progressions, which I was like, I've got to be wrong because no song this stupid could be this chordally complicated. Sorry, Ed. Sorry, Stephen.
It's not even that. Yeah, exactly. And it's not even like that complicated. It's just odd choices.
Yeah, odd choices.
You know what I mean?
And I wonder, Aaron, honestly, did they really, they did not make they just put their fingers down and go, hey, this chord sounds good right next to this chord. They weren't thinking progressions. They weren't thinking, like, they were like, that just sounds good. All right, now I'm going to go to G, and then I'm going to go to D. All right, yay, that sounds great.
I mean, the only chord I think that that I would maybe wonder if that was true on is the F sharp, because I really do like the way that again, it's an odd choice because you go to the 2 and then resolve back down to the 1. But I like the way it sounds, so I honestly did like that. It's one of the elements of the song that I like. It kind of here I go again. Kind of reminded me of They Might Be Giants. I can't remember. Well, you know,
can't get through an
it's
episode
obligatory.
without him,
What? Oh, Ball and Chain, Lucky Ball and Chain. That's the song it reminds me of. Ding, 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 ding.
Oh yeah, lost my lucky
Confidentially,
phone,
yeah.
Now she's 4 years.
But you know,
gone.
yeah, it is what it is. I'm interested. How many McFlys? How many McFlys?
So I'm gonna. Sorry.
I was going to say, Heidi, did you give a number?
I'm gonna give it. What did you give it, Aaron? 1.5. Yeah, I'm giving it the same. My lowest on record so far.
But we're still not drinking the Haterade because
No.
that's
I mean,
Stefan.
it is what it is. It's not like a point.
See how I just threw Stefan under the bus.
That's fine. That's why I'm like, go.
I say we're drinking watered down Haterade.
Yeah, right.
Tracy, what do you think?
All right, well, that leaves me. I started out with a different number when I wrote this week. The thing is, I like certain versions of the song. If you asked me if I like the Buck Naked version, the answer would be no, I do not. I loathe the Buck Naked version, to be honest. Yeah, it's slow. I don't like the long bridge in the middle of it. I feel like it just carries it on and doesn't do anything. Which is the reason I don't have it on my playlist at all. I do have a version of this on my playlist. That's the live version that they did for Peep Show, which I thought was actually really great and has a lot of good energy. I like that it's reminiscent of old BNL. I like that it kind of has that nostalgia feel. But mostly I like this song for what it is. It's a rarity. And I keep it in that area of being a rarity. It's too simple. It's too short. So I'm going to give it, for the original, for the Buck Naked version, which is what I have to rate it on, I'm going to give it a 1.75.
Wow, I'm still
Could not break the 2 barrier.
I'm still not likable.
No. Although, to be honest, if I were going to rank the live version, I would give it a 3.
Well, so that's what I did. I sort of did an amalgam. Like I took
3.
So you might consider. I mean, honestly, if you're giving a 1 to that version and a 3 to that version, maybe this is a 2 for you, and that's fine if it is. Like, you don't let us sour this for you. If this is something you enjoy.
I mean, I always rank it based off from unless there's a pure version that was done for an album, like they actually revamped it for an album. I've got to go with the original version. The original version off Buck Naked really, like, I don't enjoy.
That's fair.
That's fair.
So
you
can
ranked it
we throw to Jeff via satellite?
Yes, Jeff,
And
what did you
now,
think of this
Jeff,
song?
via satellite. Come in, Jeff. Jeff. Are you there, Jeff? It's me, Margaret.
Jeff is busy taking some night photographs. I have proof. He's right here outside my
In
window.
photo 1, there's a murderer. In photo 2, Jeff's got a severed head. In photo
Okay,
3,
now I want to hear Jeff do a satire of the.
Oh my
gosh!
it's Freddy Krueger. Each frame captures this.
He's eating
I
a
gotta write it down.
burger.
I know.
Oh, wait.
He's shopping at Kroger.
Each frame captures the various subtleties of fright.
Oh, there we go.
Ooh,
Each
nice.
frame captures the various subtleties of
Right.
subtleties of fright. In photo 1.
Actually, that's one thing we didn't bring up. I do like the harmonies in this.
Oh yeah, beginning harmonies. Yeah, I do.
Yep.
You're right. I still am not going to increase my.
Oh no, I'm not changing it at all.
But again, I would say if this was something that like they put out, like maybe if they put out an album in the future where they revisited some older songs that they never got a chance to really kind of do up in full quality, I would be curious and I would like to hear like an updated version of this. See what they do with it.
Changed around
Like
the
on their
music a little
50th
bit.
anniversary tour.
Oh my god, the bare naked octogenarians.
That's good
Especially-
to hear, Dr. Becker. Good to hear, Dr. Becker. Yeah.
especially fright photographs. I want to see fright photographs.
Fright photographs.
Dr. Como, that's
Yes.
perfect. That's
We could just tell Jeff
Great.
we've written a new song for him. Fright photographs.
I mean, he's already got 18 songs on this album. Like he needs more.
Aaron, do you have a PhD?
I do not. I do
You
not
don't?
have a PhD. No.
Huh.
I went to school for music, but I certainly don't have a PhD.
Ah,
Otherwise, I would just insist that everyone call me Dr. Becker, because I'd be like Doctor Strange.
And I don't have a PhD in music. I have a PhD in education. My bachelor is in music.
That is one more PhDs than I have.
I wouldn't say I'm any smarter. PhD
Wicked
is just
smart.
3 letters that got me a job at a college.
because Tracy, you've got to have a master's to do what you do, right?
I do.
He's Master Como.
Gotcha. And Aaron, you don't have. Do you just have BS?
My
It's a
course
BS.
was my course was BA, Bachelor of Arts Music with a concentration in audio engineering, but I actually dropped out with like 2 credits shy.
So you had like a BAM.
Yeah, I'm a classic tech dude who works in tech and just like, you know, I don't know. It's just one of those classic stories, you know. Like I still like tell myself I should just go back and do it, but now that I have a job that could accommodate that kind of schedule, maybe I will. But
I
Just
just
knock
have
it
a
out.
BM, so I have a bowel movement all the time.
I was gonna say PhD, doesn't that stand for pretty hard degree?
No, it stands for piled higher and deeper.
That's fair.
Right. I was looking at the 4 of us, and I was thinking of that show Big Bang Theory, how they'd pick on that one person who didn't have a.
You've only got a bachelor's
So
degree. or
I
whatever.
wanted to find out if I was that guy. Though I was the guy.
No,
Like,
because they
everybody
also
picking
make
on
fun
me.
of anybody that has a PhD not in science or math. Like, if you have they always pick on Wallowitz because his PhD is in what, physics? I can't remember. It's in something else. So
No, geology.
It's in applied.
applied, yeah, and it's not as real as theirs. Oh yeah, and ed PhDs are way at the bottom of the food chain. We're like, yay!
By the way, this week's appearance is one we've used before, but I had to reuse it because when they were on Two Guys, a Girl, and a Pizza Place, the first song that they did on that show, they used the music from this song and just replaced the lyrics to apply for the show.
Stuck inside a dead end tunnel, not part of its flat. He would like the opportunity to sell out to the man. The Arnolds of the 90s is not where he wants to be. Aging in a beach's joint like a second-rate Fonzie.
And then the second song they did was Box Set.
So it was like in photo one, a pizza.
A jar.
They didn't use any of the lyrics
Butter
over,
three,
but they.
a lot of mozzarella.
It's funny that there was a person that posted it this week, and I'm like, wait a minute, that's night photographs.
Or is
Wait,
it
no
Blister
way.
in the Sun? We don't know.
Well, yeah.
Oh, we do know. Blister in the Sun's way better. That actually.
You heard that, Violent Femmes? We know you listen.
Yeah, come on the
show.
show, please.
Come on the show.
I'll talk to you about being on the Crow soundtrack.
Oh, too soon?
Ouch.
I love that movie. Yeah, I watch that every Halloween.
It's a great flick.
So, guys, I wrote up a transition for next week's song,
Yeah.
but as Aaron pointed out to me before the beginning of the show, I skipped the song. Like, this next week's song kind of snuck up on me.
Like
ninjas.
ninja.
Like a ninja.
Yeah.
Stealthy. I got
So-
cat-like moves and reflexes.
Like a ninja. Cutting for the very first time.
Like a ninja. Got my black outfit.
Oh my god.
God.
Stop.
I got nothing.
No.
I'm
it's
usually
bad.
better than this.
Yeah, that's bad. That's
I know it was bad, Stefan. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you got a degree in this too.
I'm a
Come
bad girl. I've been a bad girl. I'm the Fiona Apple.
I was just going to say, are we going to Fiona
we're
now?
going to Fiona. Fiona.
Fiona Apple, we know you listen. Come on the show.
Right, Fiona Apple.
That would be a great. I really love Fiona Apple. She's got some great music. I would love to have her on the show.
Are you sure she's not a Pete?
So Stefan, if you're going to pick on Heidi, you got to show up and do better. So what's your cover?
My cover?
Yeah, what's your
Throw
song
down.
cover?
I sent it to you guys in the chat. is me howling. That's all I've got. I can't do it. I have way too much glass in my house.
Well, hey.
All right,
I had
guys.
a lot of fun talking about this song with you guys. And looking forward to Ninja.
Lots of fun. How we stretched this for as long as we have, I don't know.
Guys, have a great evening.
Thanks, that was fun. Don't forget, no regrets, except maybe one.
To celebrate joining Pantheon Podcasts, Rock Camp, the podcast, the official podcast of Rock and Roll Fantasy Camp, is giving away a guitar signed by Mike Portnoy of Dream Theater, Marty Friedman, formerly of Megadeth, and legendary shredder Zakk Wylde, plus our rockstar counselors like Vinny Appice, Monty Pittman, and more. To enter to win, simply follow, rate, and review our podcast on your preferred platform, and that's all you have to do. For more information, go to rockcamp.com/podcast.